You found me! Yay! Oh my goodness. Let's hope everybody else finds me. You are so patient. Okay. Frozen now. Oh no. Okay. Thanks, Amy. Not frozen anymore. Good. Hi, Julie. Okay. Okay, Kasha and Amy, I'm just going to wait for you to let me know you can hear me. Okay, you can hear me. Let me know when we're good to go. Can hear you. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. Good. Okay. We're good. Okay, I'm just going to get started. I'm going to get started now. When else went? I don't know. Maybe they just left because they were tired of waiting, or maybe they didn't realize there's a new link. And I apologize because I didn't realize when I signed off that it was going to cancel the whole live. I thought I could just get right back on. And I know when I had all my technology set up, it was perfect, amazing. I had, the camera going the way I wanted, and things happen. And I just want to say to anyone that has stuck around and been super patient or is coming back because I went and had a cup of tea or something like that. Yeah, gremlins. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Live and learn. And I just want to thank you for your patience. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry we're starting late, but it's a good thing our art journal today isn't actually going to take us that long to make. I hope. Like we have about 40 minutes now, so I'm just going to power through. And if you don't know me, my name is Christine Karpiak. My best friends, my oldest friends call me Chris. A lot of people call me Chris. So I don't really mind if you call me Chris or Christine, doesn't matter to me. And yes, Kasha and Amy, I did start Wanderlust in 2016, actually. So it was right there from the start. And just couldn't be more honored and happy to be here with you all. Now I'm going to flip my camera around. It's going to just maybe take me a second because configurations different. I had it going horizontal, but now it's telling me it wants me to go vertical. So I'm just going to have to play around a little bit. So just bear with me again. Again, I had this all just perfect for you guys. So just be patient. Technology, what are you going to do? So just hang tough, guys. I'm going to flip it around. So that means, guys, that I am not going to be able to see your questions, okay? I'm not going to be able to see your questions. So I'm sorry about that. not going to be able to see the chat um, because I just, because I'm using my phone today, and I'm just going to tell you that actually I hadn't planned on using my phone. I really wanted to use, I have all these fancy cameras and things I have here. It just didn't happen. But that's okay. Now it's telling me to turn my camera again, guys. So I don't know. It's always telling me to turn my camera. Okay, can you guys tell me, is it straight or are we crooked here? Or I mean sideways. Yay, Katie, you found the new link. Okay. That's good. Janet, okay, we're straight. Just want a confirmation that we are straight here. Oh, sorry, so I can, because it's telling me that wants me to turn my camera. Everything okay, works fine, straight. Awesome, you guys. You are amazing. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started. Whew. Well, it is a bit of a party, and things happen when you have a party, right? It just happens. It's going to zoom in a little bit. Move things around somewhat. Okay. Guys, if you're playing along with me in the moment here, it's just going to be really kind of loosening up, playing a little bit, okay? And we don't want to, this is like, I don't want to play, we don't want to take too much time with each step here, and of course we don't have that much time with each step here, so we'll just get going. I'm just going to start us off just very lightly, putting a couple of colors here on our on our art journal page, just to kind of break the blankness and dive in there. And I just put a couple colors really loosely. We don't need to cover the whole page, and I'm just taking this old card to just spread it around so it's really thin. We want it to dry fast. Just a random little base here. Okay, nothing wild and crazy. And I just sort of picked a couple of neutral colors on which we can build. Okay, so I apologize. We're going to have to use this dryer. And this is one step I forgot to write into the notes, is just to dry this. I didn't think we needed to, but I changed my mind. So sorry about the noise. Okay, it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay. Okay, yes, I'm using acrylic. So I just happened to see that. Question. I am using acrylics. Guys, if you have a question for me that I guess, because I can't see the chat where how I'm working right now, but if you have a question for me that you want to ask me personally, you can totally just send me a message on Instagram, or Facebook Messenger, or whatever you like to use, and I can get back to you. That is just not a problem. Now, I don't know about you, but I tell you, I look at a spray ink and I'm covered in ink. I don't get it. So I decided to put these old gloves on just to save the hands. And when you get to this part, guys, you might want to put gloves on too. It's up to you. You really don't need that many stencils, but stencils, it's just a fast and simple way to kind of get some color on your page. Now, this is where you're going to ask yourself, well, what colors am I going to use? And for me, I'm going to use, kind of this bluey greeny palette here with some yellow, I think, and maybe a pop of this peony. Okay. It doesn't really matter the kind of inks that you have, but I think the important part here is just to choose the colors that you really resonate with and really like. Now, if you want to work monochromatically, you sure can. If you want to work bright and bold and beautiful, you sure can. If you're not sure what colors to use, you could always refer to the color wheel here. I'm using sort of blue greens, and using more of like the triad colors, so the red, violet, the yellowy oranges like that. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm doing, but focusing on the blue. But again, it doesn't really matter so much. I'm going to do a little bit of background in this color, just kind of here and there, right? Here and there. You could also um, mix the colors, and then that they can kind of mix on your page like that. Just pretty cool, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, I have a line there and stuff. It doesn't matter. You could go do a fun thing and turn it upside down like that. This is really just a playtime. It's just kind of like getting warmed up here for our weekend, and just getting a base down too, right? Doesn't have to be anything wild and spectacular going on here yet. Yeah, in fact, I think I might want to use this again a little bit here. But let's yeah, I think I'm going to use this color again. That is so pretty. That's the Salvaged Patina from Distress. I really like that. And I love this one, the Uncharted Mariner. Gorgeous. And see how dark and rich that is. Like, beautiful. Gorgeous corner going on there already. And, you know, these colors are bleeding in to one another, which is fantastic here as well. Love that. Now, one of the challenges we may have in the time we have is, you know, if you're anything like me, you get really spray happy. It takes a while for the spray to dry. So we'll definitely have to use our heat tool for that. So I'm not going to heat tool it just yet, although we could. But now I'm going to add some of this yellow here. And this beautiful flower. I just love this stencil so much. You know, this yellow, I'm telling you guys, I think it's the actual product, because the sprayer in the original one wasn't working. So I transferred it to this, to another sprayer, and it wasn't working. So I transferred it to this sprayer, and look, it's really just kind of not doing what it's supposed to. So you know what? Maybe we just won't be using that one. However, we still have a little bit of something going on there, right? That's kind of cool. And this is playtime. So don't get too caught up in, what's it going to look like, and oh, I don't like this base that I've made. I've added far too much spray ink, and it's really okay because we're just creating layers here. Yep. Okay. So when you kind of get to the stage I'm at, it's looking really drippy and wet. It's a good time to dry it. So again, sorry about this waiting time with the drying, but hey, we aren't alive. This is reality. This is how it really is when we create, right? Okay, I'm gonna just see if I can look at the chat. If there's a chat, I don't see anything in the chat right now. It's while I'm drying here. Okay, I know this is the boring part for you, right? Just waiting and waiting. This is the good thing about when you watch a film video is you just fast forward through all this part. Okay. But you can see like how the colors are blending into one another as they're drying. That's really cool. And it's like magic. Like when you're at this stage and you see things emerging and colors changing as it dries, it just becomes magical. Like you've created this amazing palette for yourself in a very, very simple way. I'm just going to keep drying. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions? Because I can see my little chat now.
Oh, I'm sorry that Vicky. Oh yeah, it's gonna be in the replay. Yeah, I know. That was my fault totally because I've done lives before, but I've never done one on YouTube. So this is me learning, and I'm so sorry I've inconvenienced you guys. Like, I just feel so terrible about it. But on the other hand, you know what? I'm just learning about this YouTube live myself. So, thank you so much for your understanding and your patience, truly. Okay, so if you've decided to do not quite monochromatic, but maybe analogous colors here, you may want to consider a little pop of color now. Okay, so we can do a couple of things. We can do some dark blobs here randomly. That looks pretty cool, hey? Or if we want to get really bold, guys, let's get bold. We can add a completely different color. And now, okay, there's a line again. I'm very good at that. But it doesn't matter because we have other steps that we can do. If you want to have even a brighter color, I'm going to try a little bit of a brighter color here, like, ooh, so fun. And let's try something like that. Because we can. Because we can. I'm going to leave it there. So again, guys, more drying. But we're almost done with the drying here, I promise. So I'm just so curious to know how many people are playing along and how many people, are just enjoying this for now and watching it and then are going to dive into it later. It's so fun to play along, isn't it? But then you might get stressed if you're getting a little bit behind. Joan, baby steps. Oh, and Net's playing along. Yeah, Net, good for you. This is wicked. Playing in slow mo. No, I know he can. Yeah, I know. It's so hard. Beatrix, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Susan. Susan, you know what? We're gonna get it right next time because I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow and then the next day as well. Okay. Okay. Let's just stop the drawing. And if you are playing along, and it's like, oh, I don't have time to dry, because we have 25 minutes. We're going to make it, guys. We're like so going to make it here. Then you can just take a paper towel and just stop it up. Okay. Now, take these gloves off, you guys. Now, that is not really the color palette I was thinking about when I did this. I kind of wanted it to be more in the yellows and that. But, as you can see, my yellow isn't exactly working. So that's okay. Not a problem. Now, this step, guys, when you come to this step, we can add some more marks. And sometimes I just like to add a pencil. I like to use my non-dominant hand. And we don't need to do much with the pencil really because there's a lot going on. But sometimes it's just those little extra marks that just can add some interest, especially when you're looking closely at areas. And I like to do that. And it's just a bunch of scribbling. And then just to add some more interest again back into our color play there, we can certainly go on with the pastels. I just thought for simplicity, we would use the Caran d'Ache today
because, well, for me, I've got, lots and lots of pastels, but these are just kind of easy in a set, and these are separate ones that I bought. But I really like these colors, and I think then you have a choice of what you can add to it. So, this is a good time if you are thinking you're missing a color that you want, you can add it in now a little bit. So I'm going to maybe just color this spot with my yellow. And this is a good time where, you just want to add some marks and don't think too hard about this, okay? This is just, again, adding more layers to your background, and it really just doesn't need to be perfect. Doesn't need to be a picture. It just needs to be how you're feeling in the moment. Like maybe you're circling things, maybe you're making little marks here and there, like these little crosses. You know, this is just really working intuitively now, okay? And fun. Like if you love color, this is such a fun little project here. It's just I don't know, it's just really fun. It's not like for me, this is not really how I had imagined it in my head. I was hoping to do more of the browns, but then I kind of went crazy with the pink. And if something like that happens to you, where it just sort of takes another direction, just take a breath, you know, and just go with it. Okay, just go with it. Now, I've got these sort of bluey, pinky, and greens here because that was the colors I wanted to go with. And um, so I'm going to add some up here because I've got a lot of it here, but maybe I want to add some up here as well. You can see that when I'm doing this, my spray ink is still a bit wet. But that's okay. It's just giving it a different effect, like more of a dreamy effect, I'd say. And that's just fine. Like maybe we don't see these pastels enough. See how that's dry. You can tell that, right? It's really a lot bolder and sharper there, where these ones just are just a little bit wet still, but not a problem. We got it. We we can do this. This doesn't have to be this work of art on the wall. Like it is in your art journal to give you joy and self-expression and creativity, and you're exploring, aren't you? Like this is a safe place for you to explore. Definitely. These colors really just are really magical, I have to say. Now, one of the cool things about using Caran d'Ache or other water soluble pencil crayons is you can activate them with water. And I just got my aqua pen here, and um, which has water in it, but doesn't seem to be working that well. So I'm gonna dip it into the water here. You can activate it so it looks a little bit dreamier, which is kind of cool. I love that. I love that, especially when you're adding a darker color like this blue. Maybe you don't want it to be so bold. Maybe you want it just to be a little dreamier because it just gives you a different look. Now, composition wise here, you'll notice that I've got a lot going on here. This is kind of a lighter, and this is sort of like in the middle. And you may want to think, I mean, it depends on how you're going, but you may want to think about leaving a sort of a calmer place, a space holder kind of a place, instead of this wild and craziness everywhere. This kind of just morphed the way it is, so that's okay. We can add some more to that, but maybe I'll just add a few little bits and bobs here, so it's almost like your eye, it's trailing, it's moving around, it's dancing around, and then maybe it comes down to here. Maybe it doesn't come down to here because it's just holding the place. But if you're really don't want to be concerned about composition at this point, and that's just totally fine, of course. And I think I am gonna just dream these up a little bit, these blues. I just feel like I want to. So no self-criticism here, guys. Like just not at all. Like this is plain bold and doing what you love and just having that experience. And you can always, always come back to it and try it again and see what will happen. Be curious. Okay, what would happen if, I did this a different way now? I'm almost wondering if we're done with the pastels for now. Of course, we can always come back to them if we want to. But and now this part kind of is really optional if you think it's just, oh my gosh, like it's just getting to be too much here. You could add some collage paper. And why? Is just to add some interest, some texture, and some layers. You don't have to go crazy with it, but you might just want to give it a try. I did get a few of these neutrally ones here just because I thought, well, we might want to break it up a little bit. So I'm going to just save those to the end. And I've picked out, as you can see, the blues and greens here, blues and pinks and a little bit of green. So let's see, what will we do here? And these are just, papers from your stash that way you want to use here. Um, I'm not sure where I'm going to start. I'm going to just jump ahead a little bit and show you the focal point that I'm thinking of using. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about this focal point here. It can be really whatever you want, okay? For me, I really, really wanted to have a black woman with this beautiful headdress on. Like, how I don't know how they do it. It's just absolutely incredible to me. Like, they have this massive, fabric on their head and how they hold it on there. I don't know. But I tell you guys, it was almost impossible to find that on the internet. This was really kind of like the best one I could find. Um, and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, well, that's a lot of color here and then a lot of color in the back. Yes, but we have a way of dealing with that. So for me, I wanted to pick, a beautiful woman, but I also have some other beautiful women that I might add. And I don't know which one I'm going to choose. Like this one was my first choice. But really, when I'm holding them there, I'm kind of thinking this girl here, she's just so beautiful. And I love her outfit. She's just inspiring to me. And just that look on her face, like what is she thinking? She looks so shy. And I don't know. There's a story there. But when you look at the composition here, like this is a lighter color that is kind of, it's contrasting all this darkness and light underneath. So, I might change my mind to go with her on this one. And that's okay. Like if you have a few choices and you want to change your mind, like of course you can. I think I will go with her. I love them all. I mean, I absolutely love all of these women very much. So I think that'll be fine. So now, if you kind of want to jump ahead and you do have a focal point cut out, you can put it down and just think, well, where would my papers look okay? Where would I want that? Maybe you want her on this side, but I kind of want her here a little bit too. And that's kind of nice because you've got this, like, it's almost like a sun is coming down on her, right? And this little bit here. So maybe we don't even have to worry really about gluing anything here because after all, it's just going to get covered. So I'm going to maybe keep her there for now. I don't want the focal point to dictate where we put our collage paper though. So just kind of keep in mind, where she is like in this kind of area here. There. So for now. Now, what happens if we glue this down? We just don't like it. We think, oh my gosh, this is not working for me here. Well, we still have some acrylic paint that we can use, right? Now you'll notice this pink is coming up here when I'm gluing that. That is because that is actually a dye. This here from Dylusions is a dye. So anytime you have something that is dye based and then you're adding something to it like water or gel medium, it's going to come up. Okay, so that's just a tip. And if you don't want it to come up, just glue it separately and just be, kind of careful when you're gluing it down. So it's tip of the day for you. Or glue it in your hand like I am, so you get glue all over the place. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And yeah, again, we're working really intuitively here, guys. Okay, so not fretting about where these papers go. We don't have to go crazy with the papers, but okay. This is where I want to see the chat now, but I have to stand up to see it. And I want to just keep going so that we get finished in time. That's just the one frustrating thing for me is I do wish that I could, um, converse with you all and see how you're doing and, all of that. But that's okay. Not a big deal. Like, so how much paper do you glue down? And how do you know what colors to glue down? I think if you're just kind of sticking with the same color theme here, you should be fine. You should be just fine. I've got a little bit of this black coming up to the neutrals here, so maybe just put a few neutrals there just to break it up. And literally just take stuff from your stash. I mean, you don't have to use it all, obviously, but just something that you think you may use and give yourself a little bit of choice there because it's nice when you're working just to grab at your table something that is just there and you don't have to think about it. So it's nice getting all your supplies out and having them just right, right at arm's reach kind of thing. It's probably going to get covered up there, isn't it? I want it there, but it's probably going to get covered up. So I'll put it up here. Okay. It's going wrinkly. That's the tissue paper. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Now, just going to do a little bit of a dry, well, maybe not. Maybe they won't dry. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, guys, okay, in terms of, you know, um, collage. Sorry, I can't speak, apparently. Oh, I might just want to add one little piece here. Maybe I just want to add a little piece there. And that's a part of collaging and art journaling, is it like, like we change our minds a lot, don't we? Does that happen to you? Like you change your mind a lot? Because it's just that's just part of working intuitively. Like we can't help it. It's just how it goes. Okay. So now we want to give our beautiful girl here, when you're at this stage, you want to give her a little bit of like presence. You want to give her some emphasis. You want to make it a strong place for her to be because right now she's kind of maybe getting lost a little bit in that. So then, you can get in some of the neutrals. So I've got some white, titanium white and titanium buff. And just gonna add that with a brush as a sort of like I don't want to say halo, but like look already what that white is doing. Like, do you see that contrast? It really needed that, didn't it? Like it's wow. And then again, going in with the pink there. We may not want that, but that will happen if you use a dye. Yeah, just the way it's gonna be. But it creates this like I don't even know what the word is there, but just just kind of grounds her and creates some presence around her, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to add some titanium buff as well. Just mix the two in there. And you can add whatever you want. If you have like a really, really light color that you want to add, You can do that. Maybe mix a little bit of white in there. And maybe you're having a heart attack right now, like, she's covering it all up. You know, it's it is a little bit sometimes hard to do because there's a lot of beauty under there, isn't there? Or there was a lot of beauty under there. But you know what? That's okay. We know it's there. We know it's there. And I'm gonna get in and use my finger because it just spreads the paint a little bit different than it does on the brush there. Okay. I'm gonna do that. I think maybe a little bit more white in some of these areas. And you might be asking yourself, well, why are we making all these layers and then covering them up? It doesn't even make any sense. Well, it's because it is a process, right? Like it is a process, and sometimes you don't know how it's going to evolve necessarily. And so you kind of just have to go with it. Also, my focal point here is large. It's almost the whole page. So that means that means I'm just going to need to cover up more stuff. But also, I didn't know what focal point I was going to use, and that might happen too. And that's just totally okay. Okay, there. Now, um, when you get to this stage and you're going to glue her on, you can add some other acrylic paints, but let's just see how we feel about that. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of a dry, just so we can have a semi dry paint when we glue our focal point on.
And I can see the chat now if you have anything you wanted to ask me or any comments you have. It's just a funny thing though, guys, because this is this is not, as I said before, not how I envision my page to look, but it is that is the way it goes. No, it's not an. I don't know what size a book this is here. Let me just let you know. This is a oh, it doesn't even say. It doesn't say. I'm like I can't remember. Is A5 smaller than A4? I'm sorry. It's probably like in America would probably be like 7 by 5 or 8 by 5 inches or something like that. And I am a centimeter girl, but I actually don't know. These books are usually sold in inches, so I don't know what they are in centimeters. So sorry. But even as you are drying, oh, you're welcome. Even as you are drying your neutral here, you look around at your page, and there are some gorgeous corners. Like there really are. And I know this white is turning pink, but that's just the way it's going to behave. Oh, A5 is half of an A4. Well, perfect. Yeah, then that makes sense. Then it would be. Yeah, it would be an A5. Yeah. Guys, are you so. Thank you, Deb. So sweet of you. Guys, are you so excited for this weekend? Like, I mean, did you just clear the calendar and tell everyone that you're busy because you are just creating art? Just so exciting. We're just starting. This is day one here. We're just starting. It's so exciting. Okay, when you think it's more or less dry here, I mean, to glue it on, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Because we only have 6 minutes, I think. We're going to get it done, guys. Look at us. Look at us. And that's another thing I'm going to say to you, that when you do work really quickly like this is really quick, I feel, you don't have time to think. Like, you just do it, you know? You just do it, and you don't have time to make decisions. And there's something to be said about that. Like, there really is. Now, I have to say that I do wish that was a little bit more white. I can keep adding white. I probably will add a bit. It's going to just keep turning pink, but
we'll just maybe add a little bit there. Okay. So now, guys, we're gonna ground her further, but before we do, we actually have to do an important step, and that is add some clear gesso. Now, adding this clear gesso on top of this paper is important because we're going to be adding some water. And when you add water to a paper that's just been printed off your inkjet printer, which is what this is here. I just printed this off on the inkjet. It's going to bleed a little bit, and it's just not going to give you really the look that you want. So it's just a really good idea um, to paint over it with clear gesso, especially around the edges, because we're going to be adding our Stabilo pencil to it, which is one of the best inventions ever, I think. Hey, I hope you all have one because it is such a great invention. Okay, so just make sure it's good on there. I'm just going to say something here. This Liquitex clear gesso is pretty good, but it does give you more of a gritty feel. So I don't know if I love that, but
For sure, you want to dry this again. I know. Sorry, more drying. Deb says she loves to do with pencils. Yeah, me too. Just cannot live without them. They're just so many products that have been invented and manufactured are just unbelievable. Hey, like, do you feel that way too? I sure do. Sometimes I'm just, totally in awe of what we can use, and sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes just you're in awe of using the simplest thing can create such amazing results, right? The thing too is when you look back on your page here, you're going to remember the feeling, aren't you? You're going to remember the feeling of creating this, and oh, you're welcome. I just saw that last message come in. I'm sorry I didn't see who your name was, but yes, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. You're just going to look back on this and remember the feelings that came with making this page. And I think that's the important part of art journaling, isn't it? So here's my Stabilo. And it's still, okay, it's still a bit wet there. Okay, we just have a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to go fast. Going fast. I'm going to go too fast around her face, though, because I don't want to wreck it. And so by sort of like tracing around your image here, and then adding some water, you're just helping to ground that image, so it's not floating around on your page. You know what I mean? Okay. So some of this pink may react again. I don't know. And you don't have to have an aqua pen. Sometimes for me, it's just the simplest thing. And it's handy, but of course, you can dip your brush into the water. And maybe you want to create a little bit of shadow there. It's very, very subtle, but it just, all the little details can really make a difference. Like, I'm going like super fast here, guys. Like, normally it would take a little bit more time to kind of work it through, but we are stuck for time. Now, there's only a couple of minutes left. I'm just going to say you can add some more pastels or pencil crayons at the end. And I really think that we want to add a sentiment here. And what are we going to do? Oh, this is going to delightful dreams. Maybe this girl is dreaming. And your page will be far, far, far too wet, guys, to use a pen on it. So don't even wreck your pen. That's why I suggested maybe using these stickers by Tim Holtz. And I'm just going to keep adding some little marks here with my pastels just until the live runs out. Okay, I'm just going to keep doing that until it just runs out. And I just want to say thank you so much for your kindness and your patience. And I'm so sorry that it just kind of went the way it did. And, that's just life sometimes, I guess. Hey, like, what do you do? What do you do? Okay, you guys, I treasure you very much. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. Yay, we're going to do something completely different tomorrow. Okay? Take care, you all.